More, the reaction from sources close to the Nuggets regarding reports that they are frontrunners for a Simmons deal is general confusion. I inquired about the idea that Jamal Murray would be the centerpiece. Not sure if that's more insulting to Jamal or us, to be honest, was the response. Simmons getting it from all angles. Watch out, Simmons going to hold a grudge and play like a man possessed against these teams dissing him. He might even pass out of more than one open layup if he's mad enough. He's gonna take like 2 open jumpers in those games and 3 FG in the 4 TG quarter. Gonna be wild. Simmons is going to make it absolutely pour rain on these haters. Well, maybe not pour, but definitely a hard rain. Well, maybe not so much a hard rain as summer rain. I guess not so much a summer rain, maybe more of an intense drizzle. Probably not an intense drizzle, but if Simmons was good and mad, I'm talking real angry, I think we could expect him to make it precipitate in some fashion. Fuck, let's get real, Simmons could probably manage a light mist if he was left uncovered at the elbow for most of the game. Did you just feel a raindrop? Nope. At this point, everybody agrees that Simmons has a certain value in a vacuum. However, absolutely nobody wants to meet that prize Lamau. Spelling. The problem with Simmons is he is a really good regular season player, so if you are tanking you don't want him. He has had big shortcomings in the playoffs, so if you are serious about contending this year you don't want him. So that basically leaves those teams that want to shake things up, maybe like Portland, or teams that really want to make the playoffs, mini. Spot on, that's a slim market in today's NBA. How many teams are really tanking though? 4 at a minimum, I think. Magic, Rockets, Thunder, Cavs and Pistons are all tanking, little more debatable on the Pistons. The Thunder are probably too good to tank if SGA plays as well. Part of tanking is shutting down the good players for minor injuries or non-invasive elective procedures. Can only do that so many years, and they did it last year. I think they should just throw SGA out there and see if he really is the number one guy they're looking for. Jamal Murray could be the only piece going to Philly, and Philly would slam that accept button rapidly. The only reason I could see Nuggets maybe thinking about this is if they think this will be an essentially wasted year for title contention, since Murray would be out for most of the year. But I'm not sure Simmons would even keep them in title contention, since he, Jokic, and Gordon are at their best away from the perimeter, so the fit doesn't work well at all, even if he helps their defense. So it's not going to happen unless the 06ers take Gordon plus a random spattering of future picks, which I doubt he will. We still want a playoff series without Jamal, and he'll be back for the playoffs. Far from a wasted year when you have the reigning MVP on your roster too. Still crying about the wasted 55 pints performance from Dame. I was at that game, it wasn't wasted, I had a great time. Same, it was my son's first NBA game. Murray works much better with Jokic than Simmons would. Plus they just extended Gordon, wouldn't make sense. They're trading Gordon for Simmons? They could, but doesn't Philly want more than Aaron Gordon and some late firsts for Simmons? Can't trade Gordon RN anyways cause he just signed an extension, isn't allowed. These front-runner reports are just journalists spinning a wheel with all 30 teams on them, isn't it? I haven't seen or heard of a single report about the Nuggets wanting Simmons, let alone being frontrunners. TF, is this fucking tweet even based on? Super bullshit tweet. Some guy who lives in Australia who made it a point he doesn't follow NBA says he heard from one of Simmons' Aussie close friends had said he believed the Nuggets would announce the trade this coming week. My sides. It's dumb to match him with another superstar big. He needs a great guard to play with and find out if that adjusts his game. Portland to play with Dame makes the most sense to me, as Dame is looking for a different approach and Simmons needs the guard to give him a different look. I still think it's a straight across CJ for Simmons trade. Makes the most sense for both teams. Let's just do it and move on from this insanity. CJ for Simmons has always seemed like the move. Maybe Portland adds 2 second rounds and a first round swap just so Murray can pretend he won something. Murray is both better and fits better with Jokic. And you don't fuck up chemistry as a small market. You have 2 guys who work insanely well together and have a solid chance at staying for a while because of the faith they put in them from day one. I mean, we traded Gary Harris, but that's not a centerpiece. Murray is. And Harris had become a shell of his former self. If the knee injury does the same to Murray, you probably trade him in 3 years, to frown. Not a single legitimate contender wants anything to do with Simmons, for good reason. It's gonna be so interesting to see where he ends up lol, especially if it is a contender and he just ruins them in the playoffs and requests another trade and we have this same exact offseason all over again. Jesus Christ. Just trade him to the Wolves and end this shit. My friends absolutely destroyed me for saying I'd trade Ben for Murray straight up 2 years ago. And now look, they are laughing in our faces at the mere idea of such a trade. Long-time Ben haters, we have one, but at what cost? 2 years ago Simmons for Tatum or Mitchell was a thing. Those days are long gone though. My God, just go to Sacramento already. The Simmons-Sacramento era is going to be such a glorious clusterfuck, I literally can't wait. It'll get Luke Walton fired, which will be some real monkey paw shit for /r/Kings. Oh God, I can't wait. Simmons for Murray and Michael Porter Jr., who says no? I mean, besides the Nuggets management, the Nuggets player, and the entire city of Denver. The entire country of Serbia probably. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. You're telling me that a guy who might be friends with a guy who might know Ben from like middle school or something isn't a real source? Flushed face. Which Saros title contender would want to take a huge gamble with a diva like Simmons? No serious contenders, but maybe a desperate borderline contender. Honestly. There's nothing better than seeing Ben Simmons catch all these strays after how he has acted. Dude is a one-dimensional player who thinks he's basically the GOAT because he's tall and technically talented. It's a day that ends in Y. The sun is hot. Money is green. Simmons isn't getting traded for any player worth a damn. Etc., etc. Don't ever disrespect Jamal Murray like that again, thanks. Jesus. I laughed at this idea. If we could get him dirt cheap, cool, I'd love to have him and slide Murray at the 2. But he's not worth trading Murray or MPJ for. Edit, typo. Sure, might move Monty and Bones for him. Murray or MPJ? Lol no. Bro, we got a legit top 35 player in the NBA, who nobody wants anything to do with. How you gonna tank your value and brand so fast, Lamau? Ask yourself why this guy will certainly play for me when he's currently refusing to play in a great situation. And then how much you'd have to give up to get him. Man, these past playoffs showed that Denver really needed Jamal. They need somebody like him who can get himself some buckets when the offense isn't working and help take the offensive load off Jokic. Swapping that for Simmons is nonsense. Jokic is already a great distributor, they don't need another one who has no offense. On what planet would the Nuggets make this trade, lol? Murray is 100x better than Simmons. Absolutely. Balls out when it matters most. And when it doesn't. Balls visible all the time basically. Really wish he'd put on some damn pants. Murray greater than Simmons. Jokic, being the best passing big man in the league, is not going to be looking for an open guard who is just going to pass it back. Sixers fans on fucking life support lol. The way Simmons is acting, I'm not sure any team should consider trading for him. Who wants an entitled and hard-partying non-listener who is going to eat up 1/3 of your cap space and whose Achilles heel renders him useless in any close or important game? Lamau. If there was one team in the league that you could rule out of trading for a guy making $33 million, it's the team that has two guys making $33 million and $32 million in 2022-23 and another they just gave an extension to making $20 million. It makes zero sense for Nuggets to pursue Ben Simmons. Sam Amico is on perpetual fraud watch. Whoa. Keep us out of this. Is this tampering? LMW. R/Sixers in shambles. Each day we get closer to them accepting they are getting Beasley and picks. I want this for you guys so much. Smiley face, heart. Wish we got Murray, but that makes no sense for the Nuggets to do that. Where did this rumor come from, Lamau? Simmons on the Nuggets makes absolutely no sense. I'd rather have Jokic have the ball more often, plus he needs shooters and slashers around him. Also, they just paid Aaron Gordon. With no regard for socialite life. Why would you trade a guy who can drop 50 on any given night for a guy who is afraid to shoot? The Sixers are screwed. BC Simmons isn't considered a superstar anymore. I'm sure they could still trade him, but there's no way they're getting anything close to a Jamal Murray unless they get some draft picks and get lucky. Nuggets fanbase wants no part of Simmons. I'm wondering who is pushing this angle. Nuggets would be stupid to not have Joker, MPJ and Murray as untouchable in any deal they could make for Simmons. Centerpiece also implies he wouldn't be the only piece we move, Which LMFAO? Rich Paul and Ben taking it on the chin. Nah, fuck that, I'm a Heat fan, and Jamal Murray is a rising superstar with an actual real life jumper, plus much more. Manufactured bullshit.